Welcome, Fahu Ramus. Hey, this is Big Anklevich. I'm a podcaster and an author, and I'm also a toy enthusiast. And today we're talking The Ghost of Christmas Past here on Big Anklevich on Toys. I went out to the mailbox the other day. It's actually something I rarely do because nearly nothing of any importance comes by way of snail mail anymore. And this seemed like another wasted trip. It was just a bunch of mailers addressed to current resident, and I was about to throw them all in the recycle bin when one of them caught my eye. It was a toy catalog sent to us by Amazon.com. In case you didn't know, I'm a toy enthusiast, so I was interested to see what was in this and why we got it. As I flipped through the pages, I was transported back in time about 35 years to the mid-'80s when catalogs like these were commonplace and much beloved. Do you remember the Sears catalog? Or the J.C. Penney's catalog? Or the Montgomery Ward's catalog? Or hell, do you even remember Ward's or Penney's at all? Sears is on its last legs, closing a bunch of stores down this year. I was surprised to learn that Penney's still exists, though it went through massive closures last year. Ward's went out of business back in 2001, though somebody bought the name and relaunched the company as an online retailer, so I guess technically it still exists too. Like Woolworths do for people who were around in the 50s and 60s, all three of these stores represent the past to me. A time when business was done a different way than it is now. And the Christmas wish books were the perfect example of that for me. How did kids find out about toys in the 80s? Well, there was the usual word of mouth among friends. You saw the cartoons on TV or movies in the theater to stoke up your interest in the property. Then there was the commercials that gave you an actual look at the toys themselves. But they were only 15 to 30 seconds.
One move and I'll set off this thermal detonator. Let's go!
Back then there was no internet. You couldn't go on YouTube and watch a 20 or 30-minute review of the toy you might be interested in buying, getting a view of it from every angle and seeing just where its arms, legs, neck, and torso bend. And you couldn't search on Google for picture after picture of the thing that you could peruse at your leisure and at your own pace. But there was the Christmas wish catalogs. I feel like it should be weird that I have such positive memories of flipping through the department store fall catalogs. Of course you could see the raddest clothes, the most bitchin' boom boxes, and the finest babes in aerobic outfits and leg warmers. And I did spend some time looking at those things too, especially the last one. But I put almost all of my time in on the pages of the toy section. Sadly, as I mentioned in other videos, I didn't grow up rich. We made ends meet, but didn't have a lot of extra to go around. I had a metric crap ton of brothers and sisters who also wanted presents for Christmas, the greedy bastards. So looking in the toy catalogs could have been considered an exercise in self-castigation. I wasn't likely going to get any of that stuff. It should have made me feel terrible, right? All that stuff that I couldn't have, it should have hurt my feelings. Hell, Sears, Penney's, and Ward's should have been arrested for bullying me, right? Weirdly, it didn't make me feel bad at all. Sure, I was filled with longing. I wished that I could have all of that stuff, like my friend Joey, whose parents pretty much bought him anything he ever asked for. I pointed at Optimus Prime, or the Millennium Falcon, or the Sky Striker, and whispered, "I want that," to myself. I got a pen and circled all the stuff that I wanted. Why? I don't know, because nobody was going to look at what I'd circled and add it to a list of stuff to buy for Christmas. Somehow, though, just knowing that stuff was out there was all I needed. Just knowing that such marvels existed was enough to make me happy. Looking back at all the time I spent dreaming of having something that I knew I never would fills me with warmth. It definitely did no lasting harm, other than possibly making me more of a toy enthusiast, and we all know that down that road lies madness. Materialism, commercialism, avarice, and unfulfilled desire aside, I've always loved those catalogs. So when I found one in my mailbox the other day, those memories came rushing back. I was really excited to have it. I looked through it and then passed it along to my 6-year-old so he could have the possibility of some similar memories in his future. I wondered if I was the only one that got so excited about these catalogs. And more so, if somebody actually got something from the catalog, because there had to be somebody, right? So I talked to my podcast co-host, Rish Outfield, and asked him about any experience that he had with getting something from the catalog.
Hey there, Big. This is Rish, Outfield. And I don't know that I can contribute anything that you haven't already said. There was a stretch of time when the Sears catalog was this great, magical thing. And you and I grew up during that era. But as far as specific examples go, I can really only think of one. I want to say Christmas of 83 and 84, Sears had an exclusive Star Wars set. It's called Jabba the Hutt Dungeon playset. And what it was Sears, back before Jedi came out, had this playset called the Droid Factory. It came with pieces that you could build R2 units with. And they didn't want that to go to waste, so they reissued it in different packaging. And by the time of Return of the Jedi, they turned it into Jabba's Dungeon. Yes, kids, you too can recreate the famous droid torture scene from Return of the Jedi, where the little droids were torn apart, hit with white hot metal. I mean, fun for the whole family, as usual. There was torture in every single one of those Star Wars movies. The real Star Wars movies. And I wanted it, but not because of the playset itself, which was worthless. But the reason that I wanted it was it came with 3 unreleased up to that point figures. It came with EV-99, a Barada skiff guard, and a Manaman. And for some reason, a Manaman was just fascinating to me. He looked bigger than any figure they had ever made before. I mean, unless we're talking like a deluxe figure, like a Wampa or something. And it was the only way that you could get them. And so that's what I asked for Christmas, and I got this Sears Torture Dungeon playset. And the set itself is crap. But these figures, for a short time, were just like, wow, you have that? I've never seen that before. And then later, those 3 figures got issued on cards, and every kid could get them. But for some reason, a Man-A-Man is one of those figures that was elusive and not a lot of people got. It was at the very end of the run. And so he's I'm not going to say insanely valuable, but I will say quite valuable. I still have them, and I wish I had had the foresight to get the figure so I could hold it up, and I don't know that I would lick it. You don't know where those figures have been. But that's my experience with the Sears catalog. Yeah, what you said, just like looking through it, and here is Castle Grayskull and He-Man guys, and I've never seen this one before, and here is the G.I. Joe, the Terrordrome, or whatever it might be. There was something kind of exciting about that, kind of neat, even though you knew you would never be able to get it yourself. The knowledge that it was out there, and ooh, wouldn't it be neat if, kind of thing. At the time, there were these television commercials, because Toys R Us was a new thing. And the commercials would be like, you can win a shopping spree at Toys R Us. And my friends and I would just talk endlessly about what we would do if we won one of those shopping sprees, where you just could fill up your cart and it's all yours. Maybe all kids did that. Maybe that's universal too. But hopefully I've contributed something in a positive way to your show for once. Because usually I'm negative. I get on here and I say, hey, eat this, Big Anklevich. But, well, eat this, Big Anklevich.
Thanks, Rish. Eat this to you, too. So there you have it. Rish Outfield got the Torture Dungeon from the Sears catalog. And interestingly, he hasn't been arrested for torturing anyone or anything. Yet. So here it is, that Amazon.com toy catalog. It's just toys, unlike the old department store catalogs that advertised for everything you could find within their walls. No joy can be had from looking at the underwear models because they aren't present. But they've got plenty of toys. There's everything from Legos to My Little Pony and beyond. There's a Christmas tree-shaped set of lines on the back of the cover for the kids to use to make their list of what they want. That's clever. This is a cool addition too. There's a page of stickers in the middle. I guess kids today don't need to track down a pen so they can circle things that no one will buy for them. They can just mark them with the stickers provided. But now it's time to complain. Amazon is a business, so they certainly want to encourage you to buy more and spend the most you possibly will. But seriously, I find this to be ridiculous. Look at this page here. The top toys. Feels to me like they should retitle this the top dollar toys. I love Legos, but this Lego Boost thing sells for $160. Sorry, I hate that stupid cha-ching sound effect people throw into every single video that is money related. I refuse to do it, so you get this sound effect instead. Okay? Okay. The other Lego set here, the Harry Potter Hogwarts Great Hall, is $100. The Power Wheels Jurassic World Jeep has its price slashed down from $320 to $220. So it's a freaking bargain, right? It definitely doesn't end there. The Little Bits Avengers Hero Kit is $150. The Kano Harry Potter Coding Kit is $100. Osmo Genius Kit for Amazon Fire is $70. The Fisher-Price Rocktopus is $48 right now. The Ozobot Bit Coding Robot is $47. The Barbie Care Clinic Vehicle is $45. The For Real Munchin Rex wasn't even available from Amazon anymore. They had a listing for those third-party sellers that they do these days for $65. Maybe it was the Cabbage Patch Kids of the season and it's sold out. I found it listed at Target for $50. So that's probably what Amazon was charging when you could still get it. Of course, things are always changing at Amazon, so it might already be available again. So far, all of this stuff is right around $50 or way more. The Kids First Science Laboratory Kit is $32. Disney Villainous is $30. The Melissa and Doug Pet Vet Set is a surprisingly reasonable $23. And the Incredibles 2 family of action figures comes in at the bargain basement price of $15. So I'm not impressed with what they decided to push in their catalog. Almost everything is more expensive than anyone who doesn't hope to be raising the most spoiled Veruca Salt of a child should ever buy for a kid.
Hey, Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa. I want you to get me an Oompa Loompa right away.
All right, Veruca, all right. I'll get you one before the day's out.
I want an Oompa Loompa now.
I guess get them The Incredibles. That's a worthy addition to anyone's toy collection. Here on the Legos pages, they only advertise the most costly sets, including the insanely expensive and definitely not for kids Lego creator expert Taj Mahal that runs $370 on Amazon. I'm not denying that it's amazing and probably worth $370, but why is this in the Christmas toy catalog for kids? Or the Bugatti Chiron, which costs $350. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this catalog isn't for kids after all. The cheapest Legos that I found on here was this blue dragon from the Ninjago line called Stormbringer. That's only $32. My 6-year-old loves Legos, but I probably shouldn't have given it to him to look through, should I? I think it's weird because there's plenty of cheap Legos in the aisles at my local Walmart, but they don't have any of those on the pages of this thing. I found this page advertising those cheap, crappy Marvel Titan Heroes figures, and I thought, aha, at last something a regular Joe could afford. Then I noticed that the ad is for the 12-pack. $110, of course. They're not going to tell you about the fact that each of those figures goes for $8 on their own. And you don't have to take out a second mortgage as well as remodel your kids' room so they have room to store them all. So I ask again, just what is this catalog for? Maybe it's not for kids. Maybe it's for toy enthusiasts. Maybe it's more for people like me who remember fondly leafing through the pages of the Sears catalog in 1984 and circling things and whispering, I want that. Kids today are already used to getting their toy commercials from YouTube videos. They don't want a catalog. And in reality, is it any different? My family couldn't afford Megatron or Snake Mountain or certainly not the USS Flag in the 80s. And we can't afford the Taj Mahal or the Power Wheels Jeep now. My kid can look at it and dream, just like I used to do at his age. I just think it's cool that something physical and tactile actually exists for him to look at and touch. I'm going to hang on to this thing, and the one that they send next year too, if they're still bothering to send them out, and save it for my kid to leaf through again someday when he's older, to remind him of his youth and those wishes and dreams that he had. Kids today barely play with toys as it is. Soon enough he'll want nothing but video games. Dahu Damos, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. I'd also love it if you subscribed and clicked that bell to get notifications for when I put out new videos. Do you have positive memories of those Christmas wish catalogs? Or do you justifiably hate them because they rubbed your nose in all the things you couldn't have? Did you ever get something specifically because you marked it on the catalog? Did you get out a piece of college-ruled notebook paper each year to write down all the things that you wanted while looking at the catalog? I'd love to hear what you have to say down in the comments below. Let's talk some toys. Also, if you like science fiction, fantasy, and horror tales, check out my podcast. It's called the Dunesteef Audio Fiction Magazine, and for the last 10 years, my co-host Rish Outfield and I have been presenting audio fiction stories that are perfect for keeping you entertained during that long drive back to your parents' house for the holidays. Much better than listening to more Johnny Mathis on the Christmas music radio station. Check the links in the description. Thanks, and see you next time on Big Anklevich on Toys.